Brad Sigmon spent 22 years on death row. Now, South Carolina has executed him by firing squad. So, what did he do to end up there? Let's recap. It's spring 2001 in rural South Carolina, a quiet place where everyone knows each other. Becky Larke and her parents, Gladys and David Larke, live on a piece of land in Greenville County. Their two trailers sit close to each other, surrounded by dirt roads and open space. At night, the only light comes from the porch. Everything else is pitch black. For 3 years, 43-year-old Brad Sigmon and Becky have been together. But now, Becky's done. It's over. She does not want to be with him. Brad isn't trying to hear that. In his mind, Becky belongs to him, and if she thinks she can just walk away, she's wrong. Dead wrong. When Becky ends things, she moves into her parents' trailer. David, 63, is retired. Gladys, 59, works nights taking care of an elderly woman. They're more than happy to see the last of Brad. He's got a history of drunken disorderlies and an ex-wife he beat up more than a few times. And to make it official, her dad serves him with eviction papers. He has 2 weeks to pack up and leave. Brad doesn't take it well. He begs Becky to take him back, but she won't budge. Then paranoia creeps in. He convinces himself she's already with someone else. Now, that thought eats away at him. He starts following her, watching her every move, desperate for proof that she's moved on. And that obsession? It's about to turn deadly. About a week after he gets his eviction papers, Brad's in her trailer, drinking and smoking crack with his buddy Eugene. He's spiraling, angry, desperate, out of control. And that's when he makes a plan. After Becky leaves to take her kids to school, he's going to break into her parents' home. His plan? Tie them up so they can't call for help. Then, when Becky comes back, he'll grab her and disappear. In his mind, this is how he gets her back. But first, he and Eugene keep drinking and smoking. Eventually, they run out of crack and Eugene passes out. Brad, though? He's still awake, stewing in his obsession, and by morning, his plan is about to take a deadly turn. It's Friday, April 27th, 2001. The morning starts like any other. Becky leaves with the kids before 8 a.m., just like Brad knew she would. This is it, his chance. He's ready to go through with his plan, but at the last minute, Eugene backs out. He wants no part of this, so he leaves. Brad doesn't care. He's doing this alone. He reaches under his trailer, grabs a baseball bat, and walks toward the Larkes' home. He doesn't knock. He doesn't hesitate. He steps inside. David Larke sees him first. He knows trouble is coming. Go get my gun, he tells Gladys, but it's too late. Brad swings the bat hard, smashing it into the back of David's head. The hit drops him to the floor, but Brad isn't finished. He turns, spots Gladys running toward the phone in the living room. He chases her down, lifts the bat, and brings it down on her head, again and again. She collapses into her recliner, blood pooling around her. But Brad isn't done. He heads back to the kitchen where David is still moving. That's not good enough. He grips the bat and swings again and again. Then, one last check. He turns back to Gladys. She's still alive. Barely, so he lifts the bat one more time and makes sure she won't survive. It all takes less than 2 minutes. 9 blows to David's head, 9 to Gladys. All with a baseball bat. In under 120 seconds, he destroys the Larke family, and there's no turning back. With David and Gladys dead, Brad Sigmon isn't finished. He grabs David's gun and waits. Becky will be home any minute. At 8:15 a.m., she pulls into the driveway, completely unaware of the horror waiting inside. Before she can react, Brad is there. He pulls the gun, snatches her car keys, and forces her into the passenger seat. His plan is to drive to North Carolina with Becky, but she's not about to go without a fight. As the car speeds down the road, hitting 60 miles per hour, she makes a split-second decision. She jumps. The pavement slams into her body, tearing her up, but she scrambles to her feet and runs. Brad pulls a U-turn, slams on the brakes, jumps out, and chases her down. He raises the gun and fires. One shot, another. Becky goes down. Then, click, he's out of bullets. He hesitates for a second, realizing he can't finish what he started. Then, without looking back, he gets back in her car and speeds off. Becky, bleeding but alive, is soon surrounded by people who rush to help. Gasping for breath, she tells them what he said. He tied up and killed her parents. Police are called, officers race to the Larkes' home, and when they step inside, they find the bodies. The quiet country home is now a brutal crime scene, and Brad Sigmon is on the run. For 11 days, police are on the hunt, tracking every lead, but he keeps moving. By the time they catch up to him, he's deep in the woods at a campground in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. He's living out of a stolen RV stocked with survival gear, but he makes one mistake. He calls his mother, and she's already working with the police. That call leads officers straight to him. When they show up, they catch him coming out of the shower. There's no fight, no struggle. He surrenders without a word. Down at the station, he confesses everything, and he admits what he planned to do next. Kill Becky, then himself. But now, he's about to face justice back in South Carolina. In court, the state doesn't hold back. They tell the jury exactly what happened. David and Gladys Larke died hard. The blows to their heads weren't instant. The trauma caused massive hemorrhaging, filling their sinuses with blood. Now, that means as they lay there, they weren't just bleeding, they were breathing in their own blood, struggling, drowning from the inside. It took 3 to 5 agonizing minutes before they finally died. Both had defensive wounds on their arms, proof they fought for their lives. But against a man swinging a baseball bat with full force, they never stood a chance. The jury doesn't hesitate. Brad Sigmon is guilty, and the sheer brutality of what he did, it seals his fate. Death penalty. And in March 2025, South Carolina follows through. After 22 years on death row, 67-year-old Brad Sigmon is executed by firing squad. For his last meal, Brad Sigmon has one request. He wants to share a few buckets of Kentucky Fried Chicken with all the sides with his fellow death row inmates, but the state shuts that down. So on March 5th, he sits alone and eats a final meal of fried chicken, green beans, mashed potatoes with gravy, biscuits, cheesecake, and sweet tea. 2 days later, it's time. Dressed in black prison gear with a red and white target over his heart, he's strapped to a chair. The 3 volunteer shooters stand ready. The rifles are loaded, and then comes the final question. Do you have any last words? What he says next might surprise you, or maybe not. I want my closing statement to be one of love and a calling to my fellow Christians to help us end the death penalty. He calls out the system, saying, an eye for an eye was used as justification to the jury for seeking the death penalty. At that time, I was too ignorant to know how wrong that was. Why? Because we no longer live under the Old Testament law, but now live under the New Testament. Nowhere does God in the New Testament give man the authority to kill another man. He quotes Bible verses about forgiveness and the law, but no scripture can change what's about to happen. The countdown begins, the executioners take their positions, and within minutes, it's over. His execution is only the 4th by firing squad in the U.S. since capital punishment was reinstated in 1976, according to the Death Penalty Information Center. Some say he got what he deserved. Others argue the state shouldn't have the power to take a life, no matter the crime. What do you think? Was justice served, or should the death penalty be abolished? Let's talk about it in the comments, and if you like getting all the crime in half the time, I'm Chris. Amy and I are here 3 times a week with new recaps. Remember to give this a like and subscribe so you never miss a story. Thanks for spending some time with us today. If you want to dive deeper into stories like this one, check out our membership options to join Amy and I talking crime together. We'd love to see you there. Until next time, take care.